Ever wondered what a VTuber manager does and when you might need one? This is part of a multi interview series where I sit down with different managers, including those with corporate experience, to explore their unique styles and approaches, each one bringing something new to the table. Links to the full series are in the description and on the screen at the end. Now, let's get to the interview.
Mwah! Hello, everybody! My name is Kuromiya Lucien, full-year full-time VTuber and VTuber manager. Thank you for having me today.
You're quite welcome. Thank you so much for accepting my invitation. So let's get started with question 1. How did you become a VTuber manager and what attracted you to the role?
When I went full-time, I realized that I needed to outsource a bunch of my content creation work. I was streaming and editing and recording and mixing everything myself and got really overwhelmed by the amount of content algorithms wanted me to put out. I started putting together a capable team of editors, artists, and music production people to regularly contract for my projects. I also realized that there was a lot about content creation I knew very little about, such as marketing, how to push for more reach on Twitter and YouTube, and I went the easy route first, looking for help with managers and consultants. However, I had many bad experiences with those, and I realized that barely anyone knew what they were doing. So I decided to help the community, take classes, and learn what I needed to know and trial it on my own channels. This way, I could learn and help myself at the same time. At the end of the pandemic, I had a series of health issues, and full-time streaming wasn't covering all my bills anymore. So I decided I would take on 1 or 2 people to help out, which over time became its own little business. I have since helped over 20 VTubers debut their dream model, and I'm actively managing 6 full-time streamers and getting contracted to corporate projects.
And for question 2, we have what does a typical day as a VTuber manager look like?
I have meetings in the morning as soon as I wake up. Since I also stream full-time, I have meetings with clients on the other side of the world first, eat breakfast, work out, power wash myself, and then sit down for my regular 6 hours of stream, then more meetings until 2 a.m. I try to help everyone as they message and call me. It's important to be reliable and trustworthy and complete tasks as soon as possible, so nobody gets left behind. It is difficult to give myself time off sometimes since I run a marathon event once a month, and I also meet with my clients and help with their projects during that time.
And question 3 is how do you help VTubers grow their audience, brand, and career?
I make individual plans and strategies for each streamer I help. Some ask for getting help planning their debut, some need a middleman for keeping artists and riggers on track, and some need translation help or help with applying to sponsors and events. It differs a lot with every single client, and I try my best to respond to everyone's individual needs. There is no one-size-fits-all. I have done pretty much anything from organizing music projects to helping VTuber group debuts within the indie scene.
And question 4, what networking opportunities, sponsorships, or collaborations can you help secure?
Sponsors, especially those not publicly listed. I organize collabs between clients, and sometimes I help people reach out to their favorite streamers through me to organize events. I also organize my own collabs, concerts, and more that my clients get priority slots for. I help reach out to other streamers for clients that are a little more shy, and I often help find artists and riggers for just a visual reference to send to me, since I am so deep into the VTuber sauce that I can recognize most major riggers by their style. I try to help every client with their collaborations, setting up their own game shows and concerts, and help manage interest checks on forums for them, making sure they let the right people in.
And for question 5, we have what are the biggest challenges of managing VTubers and what do you find the most rewarding?
The most difficult to overcome is time zones. Since I am in the Britlands, it is harder to manage with clients that are on the opposite side of the world, so my sleep schedule gets shredded quite a bit every month. But in the end, it doesn't matter if I'm a little sleepy. I am really happy to see my clients overcome what they were struggling with. Sometimes it's reaching their number goals or setting up their first subathon event, getting monetized, or completing music projects. I love seeing the community grow in a positive way. That's what I decided to manage for.
And question 6 is how do you see the VTubing industry evolving and How does that impact management?
The big boom in VTubing in 2020 to 2021 meant affordable ways of entry for models and assets. A lot of items have risen in price in the last few years. This includes management. As algorithms get updated, socials are evolving, and things move in the world, a lot of us are also steadily raising prices. I don't believe in a huge hurdle to entry, and I try to offer reduced slots to people that are looking for them. With more VTubers around, I keep seeing an increase in managers, but not everyone that calls themselves a manager is necessarily qualified to manage or knows what they are doing. Please vet who you hire and listen to reviews. Overall, it is good to see the community grow, especially behind the scenes. A lot of agencies that were around years ago, saying this as a former corporate streamer, the landscape of indie VTubers is changing, and people are focusing more on their own branding and taking control of their own path. That is why freelance managers are still on the rise.
And for question 7, how do I know if I need a manager and is it worth it for smaller VTubers?
If you have something you want to do but don't know how or have too much on your hands, that's when you want to hire someone to help you organize your schedule, to help with setting up projects that you don't know how to work. Management is an option, but not necessary for smaller VTubers. It can help with organizing a debut and taking the right steps towards working as a streamer full-time. However, there are two no's when it comes to hiring a manager as a smaller creator. 1. You want to stream purely as a hobby. A lot of managers will help you focus on growth and monetization strategies, which, if you don't care about that, there is no point in hiring us. Just have fun. 2. Budget. If you cannot afford a manager, you can likely not afford the projects you're planning on either. Don't go hungry or skip bills for something optional, for something luxury, like management. If you make zero money from streaming and don't wish to invest, no manager will be able to help you for free.
And question 8 is, what tasks do you handle and what would still be my responsibility?
I help provide contacts, manage music projects, have an overview of TOS of all sites, as well as algorithms of socials. I will review channels and content and offer suggestions for improvements based on clients' individual goals. I also help with corporate auditions, voice acting auditions, and reel reviews, sponsorships, and merchandise. Ultimately, every final choice for anything I bring into the meeting is up to the client. The brand is theirs, and I take no credit. I don't even conclude who I manage. As much as I help behind the scenes, individual growth and content is the creator's doing, not mine. I only supply the tools.
Question 9. Do you help with legal matters like contracts, sponsorship deals, or business negotiations?
I do. I have many clients being offered bad sponsorships, and I have helped a lot of people with getting more out of the offers they were given. This comes at the discretion of not being a legal expert. Anything I cannot supply, I will point clients into the right direction for. Unfortunately, I'm not a lawyer or an accountant.
Question 10. What should I look for in a good VTuber manager, and what are some of the red flags?
A good manager will ask you for your goals and tell you what is achievable and what will take time. A big red flag is a manager that pretends they can do everything for you. There are limits for everyone, and things like average viewership, getting into big corpo, or going full-time within one meeting are all things I have been offered in the past, and of course, none of these worked out. Managers that have no streaming experience are who I would personally advise against. If they cannot reach what a client is looking for, how would they know how to help? Beware of people that advertise fake sales, have little to no reviews, or boast with big names that they managed.
And our final question, question 11. Can you share an example of how you helped a VTuber grow their career?
I had a client that really wanted help with their partner push and only 1 month of budget, so I did my best to review all of their socials and help them put steps into place to bring more people from their existing socials into the stream. I helped with a strategy to work on shorts and social posts and how to fit them into their schedule without overwhelming their private life commitments. Set them up with an editor long-term that fit their budget. I followed up 2 weeks later, and their numbers ended up consistent enough to keep going and ultimately reach partnership, and their socials had enough reach to get with the sponsors they asked me to scout out. The streamer is now working as a VTuber full-time, which was their long-term goal. Thank you so much for having me on. You can find me anywhere as Kuromiya Lucien, but please do call me Lulu. Apart from managing VTubers, I also stream full-time on Twitch and I make my own music. If I can promote one thing I made so far, it's my original song, Vital Signs, available on YouTube and Spotify. Thank you! Bye-bye!
And that's it for this interview. But there's more to explore. Click the links on your screen right now to watch another or switch topics and stay with me. And while you're here, hit subscribe so we can meet again for more essential VTuber knowledge from tutorials to discussions that you can't miss. Later, my Kitsujin.